Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
Hello and welcome to the post-match show between West Indies and Pakistan. Pakistan have won this curtailed short encounter by 8 wickets. Very comprehensive win. And that should give them a lot of confidence because they've won a match at the World Cup after 13 years? The last they won was in 2009. They've broken their jinx. After 18 matches, if I'm not wrong, they are winning this particular encounter, and that in itself should give a lot of confidence. See, they don't play. We have to understand this from a very strategic point of view. They've not played a lot of games against the top teams before 2013. Sorry, after 2013, when the championship was introduced, they've regularly played three games against every team, but still not have been very consistent. So this win should give them a big boost. What's your take, Marina, there?
Well, definitely. I mean, it's a long wait, and with some close games every now and then in every World Cup, I think it kind of builds that frustration we were talking about earlier. But yes, I think the think tanks have done a tremendous job. It wasn't hard coming back from those close losses and then try to, just bring out the positives as a team, as individuals, stand up and look forward. So I think they've done a really brilliant job. The way they came in, their mindset, their body language was up for it, and they wanted this win. I mean, you can tell it from the way they played, from the way they actually came into this game. And obviously, it will give them a lot of boost. Finally, they went over that finishing line. And I'm sure that whoever actually was in the middle has learned a lot how to finish a game, especially chasing where they were falling behind. So overall, for Pakistan, yes, there are very positive things to pick with it. And I hope that this kind of builds a momentum for next two games as well. And obviously, it's a big win for them. In given circumstances in this World Cup.
Given the circumstances in this World Cup, I'm going to continue talking to you here. What we've seen is this is probably the first time every team has won at least one game. And that in itself should give a lot of confidence. But I'm going to come down to the main important point. Today, it looked like they had a plan. Very comprehensive. They were ease on it. They did not go, okay, we'll take it down the wire and we want 8 runs to win off 6 balls and something like that. No, it didn't. It was never like that. But the major important pointer or the person responsible for this has been Muneeba Ali. A lot of people in Pakistan circles rate her very highly. That she's been one of the greatest finds. She's going to be very young in her career. She's going to be at the top for Pakistan for a long time. Even former coach Mark Coles has been very positive about the way Muneeba Ali has come up the ranks. You tell me, as a selector, you've seen Muneeba play from very close quarters. What is that different thing with Muneeba Ali that's not with other cricketers as well? But and why did Pakistan not use her in whatever the first 5 games of the tournament? They just came up today, the 5th game, after Javeria Khan, Naida Khan. This is the first time we've seen Muneeba Ali opening the innings finally.
Well, first coming up to Muneeba as a character, I mean, the thing that actually separates her from other youngsters is her mindset. We talk about positive and attacking mindset a lot because that's what modern day cricket is. And with Bisma, Javeria, all these senior players around emphasizing that you are playing the game, but it's not just about playing it, it's about making an impact. So that's where actually Muneeba Ali stands out. Whenever she's playing, whenever she is batting in the middle, even in domestic cricket, you can understand and you can see that she wants to score runs. Whenever she's, just grabbing those dot balls, you can see the frustration building up. So she also had a century in T20 in domestic. So that's where she started, just getting a bit maturer. But yes, it's never easy coming up that young into an international circuit. Where she does have a mindset, but still a lot of work was to be done on her technique, especially when she opens an innings. She's very good off the back foot, but driving the ball, that's where she probably does struggle. She had a good run against West Indies. In West Indies, in South Africa, she had few couple starts, but could not really capitalize and convert them into bigger innings. So these are sort of things that you can associate with a young player. But yes, Pakistan should have gone, given the fact that you did expect more bounce and more pace in New Zealand and against some oppositions. But I think the main reason was they wanted to go with more experienced players, especially Javeria up the order. They wanted to, sort of get that attacking option up and also provide stability. Sidra Amin was brought in. Naida, again, she was, the one of the experienced players. So I think that's where Pakistan was having a sort of a plan. But yes, with initial losses, I think they should have tried Muneeba. But it's never late. I mean, today she came in. She was confident because she played good innings against West Indies in West Indies. So she had and carried that confidence into the game. And the way she played, again, I think that it has a lot to do with Bisma Maroof out in the middle, because you have to understand her role when she's in the middle. She kind of steers everything, and she kind of helps other youngsters and whoever the batter is to come up with a plan. And she likes to divide that responsibility, so it kind of takes pressure off the other batter as well. So I think that Muneeba has done a brilliant job today. And the more she plays at international level, the more opposition she faces, I think she'll develop into a more stable batter.
Just another update, if you have. Do we have any update on Javeria's injury?
Not really. I mean, what I know is that she is recovering, but will she be able to play any match, especially given they've got matches up ahead? I'm not sure right now, but let's hope for that.
Let's hope for that. Let's hope if we can see Javeria come back in the team. Let's have a look at the batting scorecard there. Muneeba Ali opened, of course, with Sidra Amin. Amin was not able to perform really well, but Muneeba scored majority of those runs, 37 of 43. Bisma Maroof was there for majority of the time with her. She finished 20 not out of 29. Umayma Sohail finished on 22 not out of 27. Britney, I know it's pretty early morning. You haven't slept all night, and it's been a long night for you. But of course, West Indies losing is another thing. I want to ask about that batting. If you see, with the kind of score they had, did not look like West Indies had a plan for them, because clearly from ball one to the end of the innings, it clearly looked like Pakistan knew what they're doing, and they chased it out very comfortably without even bothering Midadar or Ali Arias to even come out there in the middle. What's your thought about that Pakistan batting line?
Pretty impressed. I thought West Indies would have learned from their past series against them. We know that Pakistanis love to use the crease, so the length you will normally go to other teams. A lot of Pakistan players like to bat deep in the crease. So what might be a good length to bowl for another team, or might actually be short for Pakistan team. And the Pakistan openers did really well in terms of making it very difficult for West Indies bowlers, because they were using Ali was using the crease and scoring. And she came out so positive, You look at the first shot she played against Anissa she looked to play a reverse sweep without even looking at how the ball would turn. But a lot of people say, take a look, take a look. But that's how she came out. The bat, she came out so very positive.
So very positive. Let's have a look at that bowling scorecard of West Indies. Not much of a bother there. A.F. Fletcher, the pick of the bowlers, 1 for 23 of her 4. Selman took 1 for 15 of her 3.5. Tottenham came pretty late in the innings. Doesn't look like there was a lot that bothered Pakistan's batting lineup. I am a bit surprised because the way we saw spin do their magic. I was a little surprised not to see Stephanie Taylor bowl even a single ball. How surprised were you, Britney, not to see Stephanie bowl? I know she's not in the best of forms, but still, spin track, you don't see bowl. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, I was even surprised that to see, Chanel Henry opening bowling. I think if they wanted to go with a spin and pace out of more, go with Shakira Selma because she's a lot slower compared to Henry, and she bowls those off cutters really good. So I was looking for her to probably, if was looking for a pace and spin to open the bowling. And yeah, Stephanie Taylor not bowling. I don't know the reasoning behind it. I know, yeah, she haven't been bowling as she might want, but sometimes in situations so games like this, sometimes we need to step up. We need to step up and take responsibility and not forget about the last game and how their performance. But because you might bowl bad last game and this game you might come and pull out what you did against Bangladesh. So it was really really surprising that um she did not bowl, and also the I would say being tactical in terms of um Aliyah Allen again. We see, I know she can deliver with the bat, but probably Karishma Ramrock would have been very very effective on this way because I have the thinking that why pick a bowler, and if she's not going to bowl when you have a bowler on the bench there that who basically could give you that over. So I think that is tac technically that's where West Indies seems to be missing their game plan.
West Indies have definitely messed up with their game plan. Let me come down to Marina. Was the difference straight up that because the match got reduced, it was all about Pakistan spin attack versus West Indies spin attack, or did you see that there was anything else that changed the game?
I think the difference was the surface because initially in the pre-match I said that if it's a limited over game, West Indies has that higher hand. But again, the surface actually played a lot of role, and then how to get and capitalize that support. That's where Pakistan came in, and I felt that yes, West Indian spinner were a bit more flatter and faster. And they couldn't really, just absorb and get out that support out of the surface. So that's where things actually went in favor for Pakistan. They understood the surface really well. They actually bowled in the right areas and they got the turn with variation of pace. I think that's where West Indian spinners, who are pretty decent, and yes, I was actually shocked that why Taylor did not bowl because I was counting her in initial, when we were talking about the spinners, I counted her in because she's pretty decent. But yep, I think that's where a bit of a game plan again went wrong in terms of understanding the conditions and the surface they were bowling on. And that's where exactly West Indies batted up front, so they should have known better. But yes, you have to give credit to Pakistani spinners because that is more natural for them. They struggle when it's about fast. It's about bowling a little faster and flatter. That's not their strength. But again, modern cricket is all about adjustment. You have to adjust very quickly, especially when it's a 20-over game. And you have to take responsibility, like Britney said. I think Taylor should have stepped up, even if he wasn't feeling that confident. But 1 or 2 overs could have actually given a bit of more cushion to West Indian in terms of taking that run rate up. And also, I feel that they should have gone with Dandra because on that type of surface they had today, her variations could have been really effective. She can bowl slow ones, she can bowl cutters, and with some pace as well. So I think that yes, these two things actually did put some pressure off of Pakistan batters.
Game plan issues. If Pakistan spinners love the surface, and if this is the same surface that's going to be tomorrow, India and Bangladesh spinners would love to battle it out tomorrow. Maybe a low scoring game, but it's all going to come down to the spinners. Same in Hamilton tomorrow. Before that, let's have a look at that points table, because this is very interesting. Australia are the only team to qualify. They have done that in 10 points. All the other teams, no team is yet out of contention. Every team stands a chance to make that semi-finals. South Africa 8 points, 6 points for West Indies. They played 6 games. They just have 1 left, and that's against South Africa. So it's a tougher game there. India, England, New Zealand with 4 points each. India have a better run rate than the others. England, but have Pakistan and Bangladesh to play. And New Zealand at 4 points, Bangladesh 2 points, but Bangladesh have only played 4 games. So all in all, it looks very interesting, that particular points table. And I'm going to ask you guys now, which are the 3 teams that you feel are going to join Australia there? Let's be logical. And if you want, I'll tell you which games they are playing. South Africa is playing India, Bangladesh next. South Africa is playing West Indies and India next. India is playing Bangladesh and South Africa. West Indies is playing South Africa. So it's a very tough, muddled thing. We all thought that England is kind of ruled out of the tournament, but England is going to play Bangladesh and Pakistan next. South Africa is playing Australia tomorrow. So a lot of these variations and combinations. Marina, I'll start with you. Now tell me very logically which are going to be the 3 more semi-finalists that we are going to see.
Well, logically, if you want me to answer that, I mean, at this moment, you cannot pick any team, especially with the kind of surface we had today. Yes, South Africa probably will. England. If I talk about England, they do have a chance. But I mean, given the fact that Bangladesh and Pakistani bowlers are doing really well, especially the spinners, it's not going to be easy for England again. And with the kind of win Pakistan had today, I think it might have boosted. And especially the kind of games Bangladesh is playing, they will be eager to make an impact. So, I mean, right now, it's actually, to be very honest, very hard to pick out. So, but yes, again, I think probably South Africa. India needs to beat South Africa in order to, maintain their dominance. But England, I still feel that, I don't know, I have that gut feeling that they need to erase everything that has happened in this tournament and come up with fresh mind to make those 2 matches really count. But yes, they have the ability. New Zealand, again, I have huge question marks for them. So let's see. India, yes, they do have a chance, but yes, they're facing South Africa, so that's going to be another crucial game.
So are you saying me that it's India, South Africa and England, the remaining 3 semi-finalists for you?
Yeah, that's the pick for me.
That's Marina saying that her 4 semi-finalists are kind of ready. West Indies, whatever the scare they gave at the start of the tournament, have pretty much what they did today against Pakistan. They were expected to win, but they lost today's game. Brittany, do you feel now West Indies has a lesser chance because they are playing only 1 game, and that's against South Africa? So it's going to be a tougher game for them next. So they play a very tough game next. And South Africa already nearly have qualified. They already have 8 points on the table, and they have 3 more games left. They have West Indies, they have India, and they have Bangladesh. So South Africa should qualify, but who are your 3 teams who you feel would qualify there?
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for West Indies to qualify now. They will have to hope on other performance. Hope that England or India lost their game and have to beat South Africa next game, so it's going to be very, very difficult. I could only imagine how the girls are feeling right now, because to start off a tournament like that and just see, the performance start to go down the line, it's going to be very hard to, pick back up that confidence and belief going forward, because they are in this position. They can only blame themselves for being in this position. So, a lot of reflection will have to go into the next game. I don't know, hope for other teams, to lose. So, the next three for me will be South Africa, West Indies, and India. Just how it is on the board there. I still have to keep the faith. I have to keep the faith. World Cup is still so um open, but I believe, yeah, that's a tree I'm going to with South Africa, West Indies, and India. I can't just allow the girls alone to have that faith and believe. I have to try to send that positive energy to them also. So Australia, South Africa, West Indies, India.
That's what Britney is predicting. She didn't predict what Australia at the very start of the tournament, but of course Australia have qualified. I don't remember the last time Indians have cheered for Pakistan the way they did today, because that has put everything wide open. West Indies will now have to rely on a lot of other results, but there is one team which does not have to rely on the other results. That's Bangladesh. So Bangladesh have only played 4 games. They have 3 more games left, and if they win all 3, they're simply into the semis. They don't have to rely on any other teams. But in India, England, New Zealand, West Indies, everyone will have to rely on someone else. But of course, the games that Bangladesh play are kind of against the tougher sides. They're against Australia, South Africa, and India. So that's the reason nobody's talking about Bangladesh qualifying for the semi-finals. But of course, they've won 1 game, and they still have 3 more games there left up. Tomorrow's games are going to be significantly important, and I think so. The reason we are talking in the middle of a tournament, we are talking about a points table, and we are talking about which teams are going to qualify, is because this tournament has been that much open. We've seen more thrillers, more last ball finishes, last wicket finishes than we've ever seen in a tournament. I don't have a statistical thing to prove this, but I think so more than 60% of the matches that have happened have gone down the wire. And we've always seen either a last over, last wicket finish, or something, or that sort of a thriller. And that's the reason probably 7 teams are in contention to play Australia in the semi-finals. Marina, what has this tournament been? Because you've played a lot of tournaments, you've watched tournaments as a kid, and this is the tournament you're covering as an analyst. What is the difference that you've seen in all the men's, women's, under 19, every tournament? But this is probably the biggest world tournament that we've seen in terms of close finishes.
I mean, if I have to pick out few things, firstly, it actually reflects where women cricket stands now. I mean, people do talk about the pace of game that is different from men's cricket, but I mean, looking at each and every match in this tournament, I mean, it couldn't really get more exciting than this. Teams, a lot of things were at stake for them, and yes, if you look in the background, playing more against each other, playing bigger teams, playing international leagues, that has actually helped to set these standards and set individuals to come out and perform at the bigger levels. Improvement in skills, improvement in mindsets, and one thing that actually pushes each and every one, and I can pick from all the interviews going around for this World Cup, is that every single player wants to make an impact at this stage, and that's exactly what has turned over women cricket into one of the biggest competitive things. And again, we've seen the eagerness for each and every team to come up, whether it's, we don't really talk about Bangladesh, but look at their progress. I mean, they have worked in bits and pieces over the years, and this is the end result. That's not actually the end result, but that's where they have come in. They are giving scare to each and every team. And just relying on their strengths. They don't have those power hitters, they don't have those big names, but what they have is belief that they are good enough. And these are the small things that actually matter at the end. That belief that Brittany was talking about, that you have to have faith in yourself, that you're good enough because you're representing your country in a World Cup and you have those skills to, come and make an impact. So these small things actually came up, and that's the beauty of this World Cup, that you are looking at each and every team and sitting down, whether you're Australia, whether you're England or New Zealand, and just trying to sort out how to win a game against each and every opposition. I mean, it couldn't get really better than this, that there's no free games or no easy games to go and do experiment. You have to bring your A game into each and every game to win in this World Cup.
In corporates, there is a saying that you never get free lunches. You have to work hard for those. And that's the beauty of this tournament, that you're not getting a free game. Even in Australia versus Bangladesh or an Australia versus Pakistan game is that much going to be tougher. We never see it in that zone. But there is an important point that comes to my mind, that, see, everyone makes mistakes. Even the biggest board, ICC, has the right to make mistakes, and they've done it in men's cricket already. But the good thing that they did it in women's cricket way back in 2013 was the introduction of the ICC Women's ODI Championship. We now know that Bangladesh and Ireland are going to play in the next round of those championships. Unfortunately, teams like Thailand, Zimbabwe, and a lot of these teams have significantly missed out on that chance. Brittany, do you feel the ICC should not take, because whenever there is a calendar that's released, they release it for the next 8 years? And from my perspective, if I have to be very honest, 8 years is too long a planning, because the way the game is changing, it is changing every month, every day, every 6 months, to be very honest. We see newer superstars. We see Orla Prendergast making her name. We see Amy Hunter from Ireland scoring a century at being a 16-year-old when she's studying right now. So there have been a lot of these changes that have happened even without professional contracts being introduced by their boards. What is something that the ICC needs to now change, which they can do in the women's game at least, and make the women's game more popular, and probably have a 16-team event the next time a World Cup is held? Do you feel that as a chance, or do you feel something needs to be changed?
Yeah, something needs to be changed. You look at the World Cup qualifiers that got postponed in Zimbabwe, and you see some very good quality cricket from the associate team. It's like, as I said, 8 years span is really long. It's really long, I'm saying, in women's cricket, because we don't have the likes of all those franchise cricket that's going on for the men, that they are constantly getting that exposure or constantly playing cricket. A lot of boards based tours based on the ICC calendar. So hardly you see boards to just pop up and just make a series. There's always a series, because there's a World Cup coming up or qualifiers coming up and stuff like that. And it's unfortunate that half of these, even more than half of these association player teams have never played against a team. Let me say that even Bangladesh, even say West Indies for example, and chances are, if we continue, so they would never ever play against England, Australia, New Zealand. And it is unfair, because if ICC don't make things better, women's cricket will continue to suffer and will be a lot difficult to develop.
So a few requests to the ICC before I wrap this up. That please don't consider the men's cricket rankings to the women's cricket things, because what I understand is men's cricket rankings help with the funding to the cricket boards. That should not happen, because teams like Thailand are ranked 10, 11 in women's cricket, but their men's team is not even in the top 30. So their funding gets stopped just because of that. So that should not happen. Teams like Thailand
I think things will change after this World Cup.
I'm hoping, and that's the reason I'm putting out. That's the reason I'm putting out my wish list here. That
We say not every World Cup, we say not every World Cup where a team just come up and start to perform. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We keep saying that, but you look at 2016 with West Indies, you think things would have changed. You look at India in 2017 and 2020 World Cup. You talk things would have changed, but things as soon as things happen, there's a lot of stories in the media. We're going to do this. We're excited. Women's cricket going to develop, and next week, next 2 weeks, that the conversation just disappeared and just being put back in the closet. So I honestly don't think right now I could just cross my fingers and hope that after this World Cup, what they actually say happens and stop making a mockery, because I just feel like they're making a mockery of women's cricket, because they're just using it for publicity. They're not taking women's cricket serious. So stop making a mockery and say, we're gonna do this, we're gonna invest, and then after a week or 2 weeks or some months, everything just go dark.
that's being as
And
blunt as
I
Yeah.
also believe that even the individual boards should step up. I mean, it was a great thing to hear that Ireland is playing South Africa and Pakistan, and I think even Australia. So I think the individual boards also should take initiative, because I mean, what else do you need? You have witnessed this World Cup. You've witnessed ICC qualifiers where Bangladesh actually beat Pakistan. Thailand almost beat Pakistan. Zimbabwe seems like a very decent team. These are the sort of tournaments you need to keep eye on, because you have to give respect and value to these tournaments and the associate teams coming up who haven't had the actual facilities, but they are proving themselves worthy of it. And I was actually very upset by whatever happened at the ICC qualifiers, because I was there. I was at the ground watching Thailand fighting out there, and the way they did, it was amazing. So you have to give value to the tournaments. You have to give value to the quality cricket and come up with a plan to sort of inject them with the bigger teams so that they can learn and perform. And I think again I will make requests to individual boards that they should come up with tri-nation series, or coordination as well, and they could bring more cricket together with bigger teams, so that this bridge, whatever separates them, it is actually started to narrow down. But again, there is a lot to learn for teams like Pakistan, Bangladesh, and going downwards to Thailand and other associate teams as well. And yes, Britney is right here that things were being promised, but where is the implementation? And without that, this is the result coming into the World Cup. Just imagine if things were being on a right pathway, where women cricket would be standing in the next few years.
We just hope that all these pointers what Britney and Marina have told come to their and there are many more. I'm sure fans have been putting it out, journalists have been putting it out, everybody has been putting their wish list. Hope most of these things can be collated, and there could be a plan in place by ICC, by individual boards. I can understand that individual boards cannot just tour the likes of Thailand, the likes of Rwanda, Namibia, and a lot of these smaller nations, associate nations. But send your A teams. That also helps you build your bench strength, and that also helps build their first teams. So you can do that. There are a lot of options available. Of course, we can all do that. Speaking about that, and of course, we're running short on time. So let's go to the summary. What happened today in the Pakistan versus West Indies match? Pakistan have won this very comfortably by 8 wickets. It was a 20-over encounter, short, curtailed because of rain. The West Indies did not bat really well. It was 89 for 7, and that to 19 runs coming off the last 2 overs. Nida Dar was the pick of the bowlers, 4 for 10 for her. Pakistan chased it down very comfortably, 18.5 overs, 90 for 2. Muneeba Ali, 37. Umaima Sohail, 22 not out. Bisma Maruf, 20 not out. 2 wickets for West Indies, 1 each to Salman and Fletcher, but not very much consistent there. Pakistan has won this game by 8 wickets and have available right now. We will meet you for the 2 games tomorrow. Let's hope and see what next is in